If you think resin crafts are too complicated, too messy, or just too darn overwhelming, let me show you just how simple and fun it can be. We're going to be using my new favorite duo, Resincrete and UV Resin, along with some very adorable stickers to make a whole bunch of thoughtful little gifts. And I'm going to show you how to do it step by step, the do's, tips, tricks, and some do nots, so that there's just no way you can mess this up. But if you do mess it up, like I messed it up, it's okay. It's all good. Let's get to crafting. The first thing you're going to need are some molds. Anything that you think will make a cute magnet ornament. I finally found this set of molds that are going to be perfect for magnet making. Today I'm going to use these squares and circles, but look at all the different shapes this set has. Normally I use these two little square molds with the rounded corners, but I'm so happy that I have found more so that I can pour so many more at once. I also have this gorgeous star ornament, a little gnome, some deer, and a moose that I probably will pour now but do something with later. Just since I'm going to have all the stuff out, I might as well pour to my heart's content. And then I've got this set of tags. I thought these would be perfect to make gift tags with, or ornaments. You're also going to want to find some UV DTF transfer stickers. I've got a whole bunch I've collected. A lot of these are from Temu, some are from Etsy. I'll be sure to put a list of all the supplies I use along with links and discount codes if I have them under the video in the description section. You'll also want to work on a level surface. I use my J. Diction's leveling table for my projects. I love this thing. And you'll want a measuring scale. This is a kitchen scale to measure out our Resincrete. Resincrete is a water-based, eco-friendly, they call it resin, but it's more like a powder mixed with water, sort of like a plaster of Paris, but way better. And you just follow the instructions on the back and measure out your powder to water ratio. Super simple, super clean, doesn't smell. I love this stuff. It does have a very short working time, so maybe mix this up in smaller batches and pour it, because I'm telling you, this sets up in 30 minutes and it's ready to go. So you have like 8 minutes working time to get it mixed and stirred and pour it. But the upside is you get a finished product really quick. I found this little silicone mini whisk, which was perfect for getting all the lumps out. I'm going to transfer it to a smaller cup just so it's easier to pour into my molds. And I'm not going to fill up my deer and moose molds because I'm going to use these for something different later on in another video. You can add color to Resincrete, but I'm going to leave these all white for this project. You want to make sure to give them a little bit of a jiggle and a wiggle to get any air bubbles out that are in the bottom. And then just sit back, relax, and wait for them to cure. And it's always great to have some water nearby to put your tools in after you're done pouring and working it. It comes right off really easily, really quick. This is 30 minutes later, and I am going to demold these. Does anyone else find it super duper satisfying to demold your projects? I love this part. Yeah, these deer and moose are going to be perfect for the next project that I have in mind. But today we're going to stick to the basics. And look how easy these all just pop right out of the molds. Nothing to clean up. It's super easy. We're going to use UV resin today to finish these off, but you can totally just paint these. They pick up paint really well. If you've got any rough edges, which will happen if you don't fill your mold all the way, you could just take one of these little nail file buffing blocks and sand them right off. Now that they're all cleaned up, I'm just going to let these sit for another few hours to finish curing and releasing any moisture that there might be before we move on to our stickers and UV resin and glitter. I am a sticker addict. Now that I've discovered how fun and easy it is to use stickers on your projects, I just keep collecting them. I can't help myself. Aren't these little whimsical winter houses adorable? You know me, I love all things whimsy. When you're cutting out these kind of UV transfer stickers, try to leave a lot of room around them. It's going to help you place them easier later on. So now we're going to get ready to put some UV resin on our EcoPore. I'm going to be using J. Dixon's line of UV glitter resins, UV resins, and I've also got some plain old glitter that I'm going to use. They have an amazing trio bundle of different viscosities of resin, a low, a medium, and a high, and they all serve a purpose. And I'll tell you more about that when we start pouring. But I use a lot of the high viscosity, and because that is perfect for doming because it's thicker. So I was running out and I have 2 new bottles. You'll definitely want a lot of high viscosity resin for doming projects. This will last me a good long time. We also need a UV lamp to cure these. And I've got my Let's Resin UV lamp. It's a double-sided lamp, which is amazing for doing jewelry and stuff. But today I probably just need one side of it. So I'm gonna separate it and we'll go with that. You also want a lighter to pop bubbles and some alcohol wipes or spray just to wipe your gloves off, your hands off, and your tools. If you've been following me a while, you know I love my Resinaires air purifier. I always turn that on when I'm working with resin. You need to put down a layer of resin on top of your Resincrete because your stickers won't stick to it without that base coat. But that works out perfect for us anyway because I want to put a sparkly backdrop behind my stickers to make it look more wintry. So I'm going to mix some low viscosity UV resin. Low means it's thinner, so it mixes better with other things. And I love this glitz glitter. You don't want to put too much in because you want to make sure that your UV lights can penetrate it and cure it. But just a little bit of a sprinkle goes a long ways in adding that sparkly background for our sticker. Just pour that on, work it around, push it right up to the edge. Once you have it all spread out, use a lighter or a small torch to pop any bubbles and then pop it under the UV lamp. This one has 2, 3, and 5 minutes. I'm doing it for 2 minutes. And as easy as that, we've got our base for our sticker. Now these UV stickers, you peel the bottom part off. This is why it's great to leave extra room around your stickers so you have more room to handle them when you're placing them. because you don't want your fingers to touch the actual image part. It'll peel it off. Once you place your sticker, just rub it for a minute and then peel that top layer right off. And there you've got your first layer. Now all we need to do is put a top coat on it. And this is where the high viscosity comes in. This is perfect for doming because it's super thick and it won't go over the edges very easy. The edges can be the most challenging part for people, but if you just tap, tap, tap along the edges, it'll fill in those gaps and give you a perfect domed top. Once I have that done, I pop my bubbles back under the UV light for 2 minutes, and here we have our first piece. Doesn't that top coat just make it all pop and come to life? We're gonna finish these all up later with some magnets, some ornament hangings, but for now we're gonna move on to the next one. I think for this one I will mix in some clear with some gold sparkle glitter resin. You can mix and match these as much as you want because they're all made for UV, so they'll cure perfectly. And we're just gonna repeat that same process. And while that's curing, let's figure out what we're gonna do for our Christmas gift tag. Oh, this little kitty is perfect. All right, our round one is done. And for my beginners out there, you can also pop your tools and your cups right under that lamp and it'll cure them and you can pop it right out and it's ready to go again. Here's what that looks like, but I'm gonna go ahead and pour another base coat, get a little assembly line going, because every time I have to take my gloves off to do the stickers, I cannot de-sticker a sticker with gloves on. So let's do the backdrop for our gift tag. Time to put some more stickers down. Loving these little Christmas angel mice. If you've got some of your sticker overhanging, don't worry, you can just trim them off really easily. Gonna give it its top coat with that high viscosity resin. I'm gonna show you this mistake so that you learn from me. You always wanna make sure that your UV piece has cooled down before you apply your stickers. Because of this. This is what will happen if it's still warm when you try to apply your stickers. Yep, that's right. It won't adhere and you'll end up like me with a piece like this. And I knew this, but I was being impatient. So just let it cool down before you do your stickers. Moving on, let's do our star. I think I'm going to cover this entire star with this vintage winter scene. And so I don't need any glitters. I'm just going to do a base clear coat behind it. And it's pretty easy to avoid the holes, but we can remedy that later if you accidentally fill in your holes with resin. Going to give it a cure. Let it cool down this time. And then place my sticker. And of course, a lot of this is going to be overhanging, but that's okay. We're going to trim it up. And I love this ornament. I love the vintage vibe. And it is just going to pop with this top coat on it. I'm going to finish all of these up later on, so stick with me to the end and you'll see how I finish them up and seal the backs. But isn't this the cutest ornament? Okay, I made a repeat of the green gift tag one so we can try this again with the cooled down piece. But I like to show you guys my mistakes so that you can learn from me and see that I make mistakes all the time too. It's okay. You got this. This little reindeer is perfect for these oblong rectangles. And look at how perfectly he peeled up because I let it cool down. I did put a little bit of UV resin around the edge too, so I could fold the sticker over and it would adhere to the sides. Now we just need to top coat him. And with these beveled edges, boy, if that resin starts to drip over, it's just going to keep going. So I went ahead and just coated the whole top with resin, but I think it still turned out really cute. I had poured some bigger discs earlier, and I really want to use these stickers because I just love the vintage ones. For this one, I'm going to use some of this blue glitter with some clear UV resin for the backdrop. And let that cure. And for my deer and moose, I think it might be cute to decoupage these with these napkins I found. But this video is getting way too long, so we'll do that in another video. Okay, my little boy and deer is ready to sticker. Just gonna pop him on, peel it off, trim up the edges. And I'm gonna do a few more before I top coat all of these and finish them up. We've got quite the assembly line going here. But I think you get the gist of it by now. It's pretty simple, very beginner friendly. And hopefully you'll learn from some of my tips, tricks, and mistakes so that you can feel confident in creating these too. We're just gonna finish these up. And then if you want to make these waterproof, like if they're magnets and going to be in the kitchen, you can seal them. You don't have to, but if you want to seal them, I use J. Dixon's gloss sealer. It is made for Resincrete, and it just gives it a really nice satin sheen and makes it waterproof and helps it be more scratch resistant. So that's what I'm going to use. And I'm going to coat all the backs and sides of my pieces. Gonna let them dry, and then I think that some of them would look really great with a border. So I'm gonna use my metallic chrome pens on a few of them just to give them a little extra something, make them more refined and finished looking. And on a couple of them, my holes got a little bit filled with resin. It's no big deal. I've got one of these really inexpensive hand drills, and they're perfect for using for jewelry pieces. And in this instance, I'm going to re-drill out the hole. Once those are all done and dried, I'm going to place my magnets on the backs of the magnet ones. Add some string and ribbon to the decorations. And here is a sample of my finished pieces. I am especially loving the vintage ones, but the little mice and bunnies are super cute too. I'd love to know which one was your favorite in the comments below, and I wish all of you a very happy holiday season with a little bit of sparkle and magic wherever you are.